What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Lasting Thoughts Podcast. I'm your host, Digital Relaxation. We are back again for another episode. As always, if you guys enjoy what you hear, what you're gonna hear, please be sure to share this and rate the podcast. And couple of things before I get into the topic. First thing first, just recently, my family, my cousin, my aunt and my uncle and their family, their house caught on fire and burnt down. They practically lost just about everything. The best thing about this is that, thankfully nobody was harmed. Everyone was able to either evacuate in time or wasn't present at the time of the fire, so that's glad for them. But they are basically at a point where they have to start over again. So I will leave a link to their GoFundMe in this description of this episode if you like to support anyway, anyhow. The crazy thing about that, I don't want to say it's crazy, but this is one of those things of like where I try not to be too full of myself, I guess, in my life, because you never know. It's the same thing as I talked about a few episodes ago about a song I heard from Blue about how, you comparing your life to other people and you realize some people are probably going through something more tragic than you when you think you're going through something. So it's like it should never be like a competition of who's suffering the most. It's just about how you guys deal with it. But on this particular day, I was actually having personally a good day. Actually, with the episode I uploaded last episode. Actually, it was last Wednesday. This happened. I told you guys that I was going to go hang out with my and go get some books and watch John Wick. And literally after I did all of that, I wanted to end my day off by playing some video games with my cousin and so I texted him to get on, and that's when he told me like what happened. I'm like, bro, like crazy how I'm doing this in my life and he's going through that in his life. So it's like, if you ever like feel like you're like, life is just terrible for you, like there's probably always going to be someone else who's going through something probably just as worse as you or equal to you, which is why, it's best to learn to, pull together and overcome things rather than trying to like make it all about yourself and whatnot. Not to say the things you're going through don't matter, but don't disregard other people as well in your time of need and whatnot. But yeah, prayers to this family, man. Very tragic, because especially I've known this whole family my entire life, and knowing the things that they recently went through like a decade ago, for this to happen is very, very tragic. So yeah, as I said, yeah, prayers to them. Feels awkward now, but moving on to the next little update section. So since I did say that I watched John Wick, that movie was amazing. If you guys have not seen John Wick or even seen the franchise, please do yourself that favor of watching that franchise and that movie. Probably the best one in the franchise, and I think this is definitely one of those franchise where it got better every movie. Like usually, like probably after the second or third movie, that's when like it gets a little stale. But nah, they like just kept on improvising the wheel and just building upon the foundation that they kept on establishing more and more and making it feel like it's a whole complete world compared to the first movie. Was at its core, the story of the first movie was John Wick is this, what we learned, that he's like this very, high tier, I don't even know, like an assassin, hitman type person. But when we start the movie, he just recently got out of that life, because he found love, which is something that you think will be rare in their profession, being basically a murderer, a trained killer. So he found love, and he had a wife, but she ended up getting, I believe she got cancer, and of course she didn't make it. So we start the story with him grieving, and basically she left him like a last little gift, because she knew that her time was coming, by giving him a new puppy so that he won't be alone. And of course, if you know anything about John Wick, even if you probably didn't see the movie, not nice things happens to him, that puppy, and his car, thus leading to a whole revenge story. And that's what it was. It was like a typical, not typical, but a very basic revenge story, but with a character who's just this very, they call the man Baba Yaga in the movie, like the boogeyman. He's like, nah, he's not the boogeyman. He's the guy you sent to kill the boogeyman. His name is legendary. So it goes from that, and then we get a little taste of what the world is like. You learn that they have their own currency. They have their own rules. It's I don't want to say it's a secretive thing, but I think it does a good job at not letting why don't the public question these things, but at the same time it's not like they don't completely operate in public like this, especially in the second and third, mainly the third movie, is when you really see he does things, he really just sitting here killing people out in public in broad daylight. But the power of the people who's behind this organization and this whole corporation of assassins is they have basically like James Bond, they had the license to kill, basically. In the first movie, when I think it was the first or second movie, I think it's the first movie though, when he recently killed some people for trying to ambush him in his home, and the cops came by because people call because they heard disturbance, and the cop came by and he's like, oh, because the cop knew who he was, and he just sees the dead bodies all over the floor. He's like, oh, you working again? And he's like, yeah. And the cop just all right, well, I'll be on my way then. So they can get away with it. Well, it seems like they can get away with it because police authorities never intervene. But at first you would thought it was because it was just John Wick. Like I said, his name is legendary. Not even the cops want to get involved with that. But it seems but throughout the whole franchise, you never really see any police authorities getting involved with the assassins and the stuff they do out in broad daylight, or out in the open. So they build on that world and that lore throughout the whole franchise. So by the time you get to the fourth movie, everything's kind of drawn out, and it don't, you don't question too much. But yeah, great movie, great franchise. Please watch if you have not watched. And yeah, I picked up, when I went to the bookstore, I picked up some manga. 2 volumes of Sweat and Soap. I'm still reading that. Even though I think I'm almost done. I was looking at all the volumes that they had left, and I think I saw the last volume. So I think I'm almost done with that one. And of course, they did the annoying thing again where the other manga I'm reading, Blood on the Tracks, they have basically like every volume except for the next two I need. So I need to get these two, and then I could get the others at the store, which is annoying. And I picked up a new one. I don't have it on me to give the title. Let me see if I can search and hope the name pops up. I think it's called Ghostly Things. Let me make sure. Yes, it's called Ghostly Things. And I mean, it sounded interesting when I read the synopsis in the back. But it's basically, I guess, this girl who, like, she's in this house and she lives like she's living it by herself, and it's like legit haunted, like ghosts and spirits all over it. But I guess she's just determined to duke it out to figure out the secrets and whatnot. So that's what I'm gonna start reading. Well, in my physical journey, I'm reading a lot digitally. Just they don't have some of the ones I wanted physically in the store. So yeah, but yeah. Last thing was just yesterday. The most annoying thing happened, and I mean, of course, I was like, I have like I said, I've been, I worked on myself enough to the point where I can blame myself for this complete craziness that happens to me. But yesterday, while I was going to work, like literally the moment like I closed my door, because what I do, I lock the bottom lock as I'm walking out my door, and then I will lock the top lock afterwards. But usually I would leave it open. Then I'll put my shoes on, and then I would close it. But by that time of me putting my shoes on and it's open, I would double check I still have everything before I close the door for good. And I didn't do that this time because my hands were actually full. But I like, because it was gonna be a good day. The weather was actually great. It was in the 70s. So I'm like, it's gonna be a good day. Got my lunch, got my food, put my shoes on. And the way that I can start my car with my phone. So I usually start my car like while I'm getting dressed, so that it's already warmed up, so I could just get in and drive out. So my car's good, about to go. And like literally when I closed the door, I'm like, I don't have my keys. So yeah, I ended up locking myself out of my home, and I figured that maybe it's possible I could still use my car, since I can I can basically start it and lock it and all of that with my phone. No, I can't. My keys need to be present in the vehicle for me to use it, since it's a push to start vehicle, which is, I mean, that's good for security reasons, but stupid for me because I wish it at least worked. So I'm just sitting here with my car just running. I couldn't even turn it off properly because they wouldn't let me press the start button to like, it does like it turns on, but it's not fully on. Like, it's just on enough to like warm the car up, but it's not like drivable on. You gotta push the start button again so it can be on. But it's like, oh, you need the key, and I'm like, bruh. And then I can't even turn it off, so I gotta wait for the timer to run off on the phone, and then I'm just sitting there. So just long story short, I basically end up not being able to make it to work. And I called the locksmith like early, like basically almost after it happened. And these dudes basically probably forgot about me, I don't know, but they were basically like half the day until they got there. So I was just in my car, just doing nothing. I actually fell asleep in my car waiting. But yeah, that was my wonderful day yesterday. But yeah. So I'm kind of upset because I guess it's my fault, but I had my topic. I kind of do have my topic, but I had a photo for the reason why I wanted to do this topic. But the link to said photo expired apparently. I don't know how that works. So I don't know any way to, to see it so I can have the refresher of why I wanted to talk about this topic properly. So kind of going to BS this one. But I mean, I thought about it, but the picture just reinforced why I want to talk about it. But now I don't have that in my head of why I wanted to talk about it. So now I'm mad. But what am I saying? I don't know. Basically the point of said topic is about that point when you in that stage of life where when I guess when you had that blissful innocence within you, and there's a point in time where that moment just shifts and you start basically getting you start learning about your insecurities a little bit more. You start getting more aware about how society wants you to operate. Oh, my mic almost dropped. How society wants you to operate and how people should see you, how you should see yourself, and then you start self-doubting yourself, having insecurities, changing how you act. But I also kind of wanted to talk about that with relationships as well, because this kind of happened to me as well. When I was young, I always knew that I wanted to be in relationships, as wild as that sounds, but that was just something that was always within me as a kid, the idea of finding someone. That I felt like that was my life goal as a kid. So I was kind of not a ladies man, but I was very more open and outspoken to talking to other girls in school and whatnot as time goes by. Literally sounds wild, but literally from kindergarten to 6th grade, probably have had some kind of thing with a girl through all those years, whether it was something serious or just little harmless flirting kid stuff. But I was always talking to a female in a way that's I like you, and I got no problem I like you and complimenting you and whatnot, just being I don't know. So, but yeah, like I said, it wasn't until towards the end of 6th grade and 7th grade where that stopped, and I got more insecure about myself, how I look. And of course this is also the stage where, like I said, for other people, with this shift for other people, it goes from innocent, harmless innocence and whatnot to the typical people roast you for looking away or dressing a certain way and whatnot. And me being me, I'm not very a flashy person. I don't really go out my way to look good not good, but like, try to have the freshest clothes, the best sneakers in school. That was never me. Even I try. I mean, I'm not gonna say I didn't try, but in the core, it was never me. But I was being fake to myself, trying to be down with the cool kids, I guess, and be something I'm not. So when when girls are more vocal about that, like, oh, like, you look this way, or something about you isn't attractive, like, they let it be known, and then you start questioning yourself and like, damn, like, what the hell happened? Like, from all those years. Literally, there was a girl in third grade. Me and her had a thing, and I think after third grade, we weren't paired in the same class, I guess. So fourth and fifth grade, I really didn't, like, we didn't have class together. Obviously, we were still in the same school. And then sixth grade, we actually ended up being in the same, we ended up going to the same school and ended up in the same class. And like she like straight up act like she, for like what happened in third grade didn't exist, and just straight up basically like insulting me and talking down on me about how I look and whatnot. I'm like, bruh, like, you kind of initiated with me at that time, and now you, which I don't even like, I have no like interest in you at all, but you go out your way to tell me why I'm unattractive to you, which maybe that's an underlying thing, because that third grade story is tricky, and I don't really want to talk about it because it's not the place for it. Maybe somebody has a podcast for that. But maybe it's an underlying thing about what happened, and that, well, I guess she kind of never let it go. But like I said, like 2 years that we didn't really see each other, and like, boom, hey. Like, so I don't know. But yeah, so I started getting more insecure. I had my first official girlfriend in sixth grade. That didn't really work out, so of course more doubt in my head, like, damn, like, I thought I was good at this, but I guess like it just didn't work. Like, there was nothing really. It was like the females were kind of aging too quickly, I guess. Like, just the cute kid stuff wasn't really working. And you could tell, like, I mean, she has a reputation for being a certain way, especially after I left, after I moved away from that state. I did see like comments about her on Facebook about things. She actually dated, I don't want to say my best friend, but like my school best friend back in like elementary school. And she basically cheated on him. So that's something I dodged, but I saw it a mile away because of how she acts, and like she was literally like jumping from dudes to dudes like within months. So yeah, but going with me, like, yeah, like I just started, I guess putting myself in the shell, and didn't really want to start putting myself out there no more, and being just talking down on myself and whatnot, and kind of just started moving more towards online, not really dating, but talking to females online more than talking to them in person, because you have that blanket of the screen protecting you, and sharing pictures wasn't really a common thing at the time. Like literally, like, camera phones was still a luxury at this time period. Like, so people wasn't really sharing pictures like that, so it wasn't constant to like, hey, like, oh, what you look like, oh, just FaceTime me type thing. You get a whole video call with someone. Before, it's more like you really just had to just genuinely either just trust this person is who they are, no catfishing thing, and just talk to them and just genuinely get interested in who they are as a person. And then eventually when the opportunity arrives, like the like the hoops I had to go through to like share a picture, because I usually, when I go online to talk, because I know we don't have apps and whatnot on our phones, like I was still rocking flip phones, so the only way I could like probably get pictures sent to like a girl I'm talking to, one thing, I'm only on my computer, well, my mother's computer. I only see her on weekends, because my parents have been split, so I'm only on the computer for weekends, and it's not all the time. So whoever I'm talking to, that's the only time they're gonna be talking to me. So I got to get a picture of myself somehow, find a way to put that picture onto this computer, and then have it sent, because like I said, it wasn't simple to just send a picture somewhere. So yeah, it took time to get that face reveal from people, but yeah. So yeah, the whole point of this is more so questioning about why did, like, maybe I kind of answered it with society, like, but like it feels like a cycle. My question is, why do we have to go through the cycle? Like, when are we gonna break this cycle of the innocence of your youth? Like I said, kids talking to girls and whatnot. Like, even when I watch TikTok videos of like parents like sending like recording clips of like their kids in school, and they see them talking to another girl or another boy, and they're like, oh, look how cute they are, like, that's nice. And the people in the comments like cheering it on, like, oh, like, make sure you invite me to the wedding, like, the innocent cuteness of that. And then by the time they in middle school, like, all that cuteness is gone, because something happened to us as a society that just shifted that cuteness don't work, of like, of course, the peer pressure of like kids are doing stuff, adult stuff at young age, that they shouldn't be doing, and it kind of just crushes whatever innocence we had inside of us. We just kill it off, and then by the time we get around my age or older, people are like, when we finally get to the point where we're like, all right, I'm able to see like the illusion that was casted over us. And my question is like, why? Like, what? By the time we get to this point, we're kind of like done. Like, man, like, these girls, these girls are this, these guys are that. Just straight up giving up on relationships and either just going the bachelor route or just being single forever, and I don't know, like just crushing our soul as we get older. Like, why do we go through that little cycle? Like, kind of all the time we deal with that, because like I said, for me, it wasn't until like the other girl started throwing it in my face about how she felt about me, despite, like I said, I got my first girlfriend in that same year in that same class, and the year after I got switched to another class and had another girl confess to me. But it's the negative thing that sticks with you. That's why I talked about this not long ago, but like a few podcasts ago, like a while ago, about why we focus on the negative things more so than the positive things. Like, the fact that I'm still sitting here talking about that rather than talking about, oh, so there was this nice girl. Like, now I'm talking about this one time in 6th grade where this girl just straight up killed my whole my innocence of wanting to be with a female or whatever, or talking to females, being comfortable about talking to females without, now I'm thinking about, damn, like, do they all see me this way? So I don't know, man, just curious about why we go through this cycle, and when are we going to break this cycle so that we don't, so the next generation, like, my nephew or whatever, who's still in his innocence. I'm not in his I'm not in his business about if he's talking to girls or not, but like he's still in his innocent years. Like whatever time period before that shift happens, that's when that cycle needs to break so that he can continue going through 6th grade, 7th grade with that innocence still. But of course, obviously, as you get older, you mature and understand relationships better, but still keep the innocence, not being disrespectful to each other, and not trying to worry about what someone have and don't have, instead of just looking at the character of the person. So yeah, I don't know, man. Which I guess that's also gonna be my question of the day. Why not? If you have any ideas about what do you think, like what should be done to break this cycle so that we don't keep going through we're the innocent kids to the teenagers who are, one group is focusing on just lusting over each other, one group only caring about how you look and the things you have, and one group is just like lost in the shuffle because they don't know anything anymore. And then by the time we like in college or leaving college, it's like if you didn't have a good experience with any females by then, you're kind of like, all right, I'm kind of done with y'all. Like, there's been no good females throughout my whole life. And then, deciding what path you go there, like I said, just giving up and just being single, or going the bachelor route, and then probably won't settle down until you like in your 40s or something. You just happen to find someone, and it's like, all right, I'm at that age where anyone who's nice to me, I will take them, because I haven't experienced niceness since elementary school from another person I've been interested in. So we need to break that cycle so that it's always love, because love wins everything. But yeah, so I don't know, kind of all over the place episode. Like I said, I couldn't find that picture to properly talk about what it is I wanted to talk about in detail, so that's that. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And yeah, please be sure to rate, share this podcast. Again, I will leave the GoFundMe in my description even if you just care to just read the situation, or you are willing to give anything, be greatly appreciated. And yeah, until next time, have a great day and a great week. My birthday's getting closer. I always know, like, by the time, like, when my birthday's like right around the corner, that's when I realize, like, oh, my birthday, I'm getting older. Like, I don't think about my age at all until like my birthday's like a few days away. But yeah, later.